I love how my chain just always does this every time I start recording. Look, as soon as I start moving around, there it goes. But it matches the gray, so who cares? Alright, so guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about James Harden again. This dude is, I find this entire situation with James Harden absolutely hilarious. It's just funny to me. This whole situation is funny to me. So if you don't know what's going down, so a couple of weeks ago, James Harden basically came out and said he didn't want to be in Houston anymore and demanded a trade. And then they let weeks go past, and apparently Houston thought that maybe he would change his mind. But I got the notification on my phone today. James Harden again has reinstated, has made it official again that he demands a trade from Houston, that he doesn't want to be there anymore. And it's absolutely hilarious to me. Now let's get into some of the more of the things that I have to say about this topic. Okay, so the Houston Rockets, without James Harden, they played the Chicago Bulls 2 times. They won the first game, then they lost the second game. And the Chicago Bulls, they're a similar team to the Houston Rockets without James Harden. And from what I took away from that Houston game, even without James Harden, I'm not saying that they're going to be as good as they would be with him. They're not going to be nowhere near playoff the top of the playoffs as they were with James Harden. But could I see Houston maybe competing for the playing round possibly with the current roster that they have? Maybe. I really do see that, depending on how well John Wall continues to play throughout the season. As a Houston fan, even without James Harden, you can't be absolutely down on your team like that. It's funny, another thing that I know about the situation that I think y'all will find funny is that James Harden right now is partying. I forget what rapper, apparently he was out partying with the rapper, and it's just absolutely hilarious that he just doesn't want to be there, and he's doing anything possible to make it be known that he doesn't want to be there. And I think it's hysterical. Now let's talk about some of the teams that he could possibly go to, and some of the trade options that could possibly happen. So the first team, and by the way, this is a list from ESPN, and I'm just going to read it off to y'all and give y'all my thoughts. So the first team is the Boston Celtics. Now the Boston Celtics, this one for me is a maybe because they might have to give up someone like Kemba Walker, and I wouldn't be a big fan of that because this team, even though they didn't make it to the finals last year, I still feel like this team, they're still with Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Jason Tatum, I still feel like this team, especially they just gave Tatum the big contract, I just feel like this team is, give them a couple more years. We always want to rush young guys. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're both under 25 years old, and we want to rush them, and we want them to be stars immediately, but give them time and see what happens. That's just my feeling on it. The next team is obviously that we have to talk about, the Brooklyn Nets. This was the big one that came out basically as soon as the trade rumor started, and this one for me is a big no-go because how is this ball movement going to work? Because you got Kyrie, who wants to dribble and shoot all the time. KD not necessarily who wants to dribble all the time, but he sure as heck wants to shoot the ball a lot. And we have Harden, obviously, who wants to dribble and shoot. We got Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, who wants the ball as well. It's like, I don't see how adding James, well, they're probably going to have to give up with those guys, so never mind. But I don't see how James Harden, it factors into the equation of Kyrie, KD, and then himself. I don't see how the ball moves around. And also, they will have to give up basically their entire bench and their core pieces. Like, again, Spencer Dinwiddie, someone like Jarrett Allen would have to go as well. Their draft picks, some of their draft picks would probably have to go as well. So I just don't see the Houston deal working. Next team is Chicago Bulls. I don't see the Chicago Bulls making a deal like this because Chicago, I feel like they're going to be competing for the playing round this year. And also, I feel like next year is going to be the big year for Chicago where they can either land someone in free agency or just all in all with the improvement of a guy like Kobe White and Wendell Carter and Daniel Gafford. I just feel like, next year, the Bulls, they should be like a legit lock to make the playoffs next year. So I don't see the Bulls happening. Denver is an interesting one because, they got obviously Jamal Murray and Jokic, and, in order to make this deal happen, they would probably have to give up Porter Jr. and Bol, and I wouldn't be much of a fan of that. But then at the same time, if they added someone like James Harden, that probably would, propel them to a championship level, a championship contender. Even though right now I feel like they're conference championships contenders, like I feel like that's the most they're gonna go. But as far as championships, they won't be able to do that with the current roster. But with somebody like Harden, I feel like maybe they could make it a championship push. But also, if you don't do it, I feel like in a couple of years with Porter Jr. and Bol getting better, I feel like then they will be able to make a push for the championship. So the next team is the Golden State Warriors. So obviously with Klay getting hurt, they have a big hole right now with the shooting guard position, and this one again is a maybe for me because yes, I can see them doing this and again trying to become the old Golden State Warriors where a couple of years ago they were competing for championships. But at the same time, I don't know because they do have James Wiseman, and I want to see what the chemistry between Wiseman, Curry, and Andrew Wiggins will be. Next team on the list is the Miami Heat. The reason why I say no to the Heat is because they just made it to the NBA championship, and I just don't see a reason why they would do it. Next team is the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, it's a whole bunch of, it's a big issue going on right now with New Orleans and Stan Van Gundy wanting to switch Zion from a power forward to a small forward and wanting to switch Lonzo from a point guard to a shooting guard. It's just a whole bunch of chaos going on in New Orleans. I just don't see them making a deal, and also they're a young team as well who just needs to let their guys grow. I don't see them needing to make a big trade like this. So New Orleans Pelicans, that's a big no for me. Next team is the New York Knicks. Now, again, this is a no because if you guys seen one of my previous videos, I said that the New York Knicks they're doing a thing right now that the Knicks have never done in my lifetime. The Knicks are actually improving. They're actually moving in the right direction. This feels like currently they have R.J. Barrett, Frank, Mitch Robb, Obi Toppin. I feel like they're finally moving in the right direction. And if they just trade their young talent, Kevin Knox as well, if they just trade away all their young talent for someone like James Harden, it would just feel like a waste because it will be basically Carmelo Anthony all over again. Yeah, if you get Harden, he's going to get you to the playoffs. He's going to put up a lot of big points, but you know, you're never going to get to championship contention with a guy like James Harden, especially if you just give away your entire bench and your young talent. I just don't see that happening. So I would say no for Knicks purposes. And lastly, the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this one is a yes for me because I can see Philadelphia, the fan base is impatient, and I feel like the ownership and the management over there in Philadelphia is also impatient. So it is a possibility that one of them, Ben Simmons or even Embiid, will have to go in this deal. Me personally, if I was making a decision, I would say no because I like the idea of keeping Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid together. But you know, their ownership, they tend to rush things, as you're seeing with Okafor and as you're seeing with Markelle Fultz. They tend to rush players and rush decisions, and I feel like the fan base as well contributes to that rushing mentality. So I wouldn't do it if I was the Philadelphia 76ers, but I do see, like, if this deal came to their desk, I do see them making this deal. So let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below. I feel like I gave y'all, good detail about where I feel like he could go, how I just feel like this situation is funny. Just let me know in the comment section below how y'all feel. And at the end of this video, I might play some audio clips from post game, maybe some John Wall, maybe the head coach. I might play some audio just for y'all to hear how the players feel about after the game versus the Chicago Bulls. So let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 1K subscribers. I'm out.
I've been great, man. It's been an easy process for all of us to learn. It's not been difficult like that, just trying to figure out where guys like the ball at in certain positions they wanted. So that's all I've really been trying to figure out. Other than that, like for myself, it's going to be easy going for me, free-flowing, offense, moving the ball, getting pace, and just letting me play my game and make reads. So it's going to be fun. With me, it's easy, you know what I mean? I think the most important thing is DeMarcus already know, like, I can pass the ball very well, and I don't mind passing. I think for Christian Woods, that's the most important thing for him. He's learning that aspect of knowing that he could trust me. If he's rolling, he's popping, I'm going to make the right read. And he's a very talented, special young player, man. He can shoot the ball, he can put the ball on the floor. And, he's a freak athlete, so that's very big time.